No mammal moves as slowly as the sloth, if he moves at all. Usually the animal just hangs a little, high in a tree. That's not lazy, but very smart. Why is the sloth so lazy? And what does a sloth eat? Here are some fun facts about the sloth. There are two types of sloths, the two-toed sloth and the three-toed sloth. The difference between the two is obvious. The two-toed sloth has two claws or fingers because they are on its front limbs, and the three-toed sloth has three. However, both species have three claws that serve as toes. The two-toed sloth is larger, has larger eyes, a lighter coat, and moves slightly faster. The three-fingered ones have black accents. Also, the three-toed sloths have more vertebrae that allow them to turn their necks up to 270 degrees. The two fingers can only rotate 90 degrees. The habitat is also different. Sloths were once huge. Sloths have roamed the earth since prehistoric times, but tens of thousands of years ago, they looked a bit different than they do now. They were gigantic! While today's sloth can grow to be about the size of a dog, the sloth's predecessor was the size of an elephant. A lot less cute, isn't it?
Nah.
Where do sloths live? In the tropical rainforest of South America, you can encounter the two-toed sloth in the wild. This animal lives high in the trees in Colombia, Venezuela, French Guiana, Suriname, and northern Brazil. The two-toed sloth has a territory of 10 hectares, which is about 20 football fields. The hair of a sloth is different from that of other animals because they are hollow inside. As a result, they are often covered with algae, which grow in their hair. In the wild, the sloth often has a greenish color because of this. Sloths are solitary nocturnal animals. This means that they prefer to live alone. However, it can happen that several women live together in the same tree. Young usually stay close to their mother for a long time. The sloth spends 80% of its life hanging upside down. They do everything upside down: eating, sleeping, mating, giving birth, and feeding young. The sloth's body is very well suited to hanging upside down. In their abdomen, some organs are reversed. The hair also grows toward their backs, and they have a parting on the abdomen. This allows the rain to easily run down. Sloths have long, hooked nails on their fingers and toes, which they use to hold on to. Are sloths dangerous? A sloth defends itself with its claws when in danger. That is its only defense mechanism. Sloths are very vulnerable to predators when they are on the ground. Sloths are not dangerous for humans, and you can sometimes cuddle them as a tourist. However, this is very stressful for the animal and therefore prohibited. What do sloths eat? Mainly leaves and fruits are eaten by the sloth. Sometimes insects are taken as a snack, if they can be found high between the leaves. These nocturnal animals have hard lips that allow them to tear off leaves easily. The molars continue to grow throughout their lives. The sloths don't drink much. They lick the dew from the leaves and get a lot of moisture through their food. How are sloths born? Even when a small two-toed sloth is born, the mother just hangs upside down. After a gestation period of about 6 months, one young is born. That is about 25 centimeters tall and weighs 400 grams. Young sloths can be born all year round. An adult female can have a baby every year, but in the wild, the slow nocturnal animals usually fail to find each other every year. Baby sloths are already born with thick fur and powerful claws. This allows them to immediately hold on to their mother firmly. The mother drags her baby everywhere for the first 9 months. The baby sloth has a dark brown fur in the beginning, making the little one less noticeable between the belly hair of the mother. After the first year, the coat often becomes lighter in color. Why are sloths so slow? A sloth only travels about 40 meters per day. That's not very fast, but he just has very little energy. This is due to the tough leaves it eats. They're difficult to digest and also not very nutritious. The sloth has a large stomach where special bacteria help with digestion. That takes weeks. The sluggishness serves him very well. The jungles of South and Central America are a dangerous place. Predators such as the panther and the harpy eagle, a giant eagle, search for tasty snacks. They pay particular attention to the movement. Is there a monkey clambering up the tree? Let the hunt begin. But sloths don't stand out because of their slow movement. Their lethargy makes them invisible to predators. The fur as an ecosystem. Just like the creatures that live in moss, the sloths get algae on their fur. You can recognize the sloth by a greenish cameo around their fur. In addition, there is one animal that does not leave the sloths alone, and that is a special kind of moth that can only live in the fur of the sloth. When a sloth gives birth, they sometimes fly over to another sloth, but otherwise the moth lives on the same sloth all their life. They risk their lives to poop. If a sloth has to defecate, it does so on the ground because in a tree it's not very practical. They do this once a week and then crawl on the ground, which makes them extremely vulnerable. So you can say that it is risky business. They can adapt. The sloth is a tolerant species, which means that they can tolerate disturbance well. In the area they live in, they only need a few trees to survive. Is nature being affected? The sloth then looks for a place where there are many fast-growing trees and can provide itself with food and a place to live. Sloths can swim surprisingly fast. On the ground, a sloth can reach a speed of 2.5 meters per hour, but in the water, they are a lot faster. They use their long, outstretched arms to propel themselves. Sloths move slowly and clumsily on the ground, but can move through water relatively quickly and comfortably. In the water, they are 3.5 times faster than on land and can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes to swim underwater. Sloths can get quite old. The lifespan of a sloth can range from 20 to 30 years when they live in the wild. When a sloth is in captivity, it can live up to 40 years. Where can you spot a sloth? While sloths can be found in much of South America, some areas are easier to spot than others. The best country for sloths is Costa Rica. These can be found in Tortuguero National Park, Rincón de la Veja, Cano Negra, La Fortuna, and Monteverde, among others. Peru is also a good sloth destination. Visit Tampopata National Reserve or Pacaya Samiria National Reserve here. We hope you learned something new about the sloth with this video. If you do, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more educational videos about animals.